sleeping on the streets, from single mothers trying to care for their children. Those who control military enterprise rejoice at the news of the United States and Israel declaring war upon the people of Iran. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is so starved to kill and destroy that he signed off on a record-breaking $1 trillion Pentagon budget. Where does this money come from, I ask you? From you and I. From people barely scraping by as the United States rushes headfirst into another never-ending war. Into another cash grab at the expense of the American working class. Shame! At the expense of real people living halfway across the world. Over the next few hours, days, and weeks, the media machine will encourage us to turn a blind eye to this violence as they encouraged blindness to the violence in Iraq and Afghanistan in 9/11. Shame. As they encouraged blindness to the Vietnam War when American Air Force pilots showered Agent Orange on Vietnamese civilians. Shame. When civilians in Arab countries are subjected to 10, 20, 30 times the violence that Americans faced on 9/11, we justify their suffering in the name of furthering democracy and freedom. Shame! Do not be fooled into believing that the United States will stop at striking nuclear sites in Iran. Do not be fooled into believing that the United States intervention is with any intent other than financial gain for those already swollen with our hard-earned dollars. Shame. Do not be fooled into believing that the United States is spreading justice and freedom to the people of Iran. Do not be fooled into believing that this war is anything but an American war through our proxy state, Israel. Do not be fooled into believing this war is being fought to protect the Jewish people. I ask you, who fired the first shot?
Israel!
Friday, June 13th, Israel launched a surprise assault on Iran's military and nuclear facilities. Iran is simply defending itself against the oppressor. But we will never hear this narrative from the empire's media machine. They will tell us that Israel is defending itself against Iranian aggressors, that Israel is protecting the sacred Jewish homeland. Why? To justify the United States gaining control of Iran's vast oil and gas resources. It is no secret that the war on terror was a thin veil for a war for resources. As a young Jewish woman living in the center of the empire, free of the brainwashing I was raised with to believe in the state of Israel, I can say for a fact that Israel has made me and those living in the Middle East more unsafe. For almost 80 years, the war and violence has continued in the name of Jewish statehood. True students of the Talmud and the Torah can tell you that the diaspora is doctrine, that the establishment of a Jewish state is heresy. Woo! It would be remiss of me not to remind you of which Middle Eastern country refuses to allow their nuclear facilities to be toured and inspected. Of which Middle Eastern country refuses to sign a non-proliferation treaty.
Israel.
Of which country has bombed nuclear facilities.
Israel. And the U.S.
That's right, the U.S. too. The slaughter of Palestinians, Lebanese, Syrians, Yemenis, Iraqis, and now Iranians tells me one thing and one thing only. The Israeli regime stands for violence. The Israeli regime stands for terror. The Israeli regime does not stand for me and does not stand for the Jewish people. Israel and publications such as the New York Times have been insisting for over 3 decades of the imminent development of Iran's nuclear arsenal. These claims have never been proven and are used to impose ruthless sanctions. Now these baseless claims are being used to initiate yet another fraughtless war in the Middle East. Shame!
Shame!
The media machine will spin stories of Iran's danger to the West, of Iran's poor treatment of its citizens or neighbors, but I ask you, which country in the Middle East really poses the biggest danger to the rest of the world? Which country in the Middle East has over 90 nuclear warheads? Which country in the Middle East has unconditional support from the only country in the history of the world to drop nuclear warheads on another nation? Reduce nuclear threats in the Middle East, they say. Well, to them I say, take the warheads from Israel! Stop Israel! Stop Israel! When Donald Trump tells his followers that war is here, when his cabinet and closest confidants cheer in support of the slaughter of Iranians and American soldiers, we respond, no! When Donald Trump asks you to lay down your life for the Israeli regime, we respond, when the United States of America insists the time has come to protect democracy in the Middle East from potential threats, we respond. When the United States seeks to condition us into unconditional support for the continued siphoning of resources up to the ruling class, we respond. When the United States of America insists on continuing to normalize the slaughter of people halfway across the world, we respond. It is time the United States learns the power that we, the people, hold to say no. To say no to the terror our country instills into the citizens of the world. American imperialism will end with us, the people, rising up to say no. Rising up to resist. Rising up to free